Hey there. So this video is about geometric sequences. So we talked about arithmetic sequences being ones where you add or subtract a number every time to find the next term. In a geometric sequence, you multiply by a number to find the next term. So just a reminder, so when we write these out, like there's the first term, a1, a2, a3, a4. And so if you look at trying to figure out what are we multiplying by, it looks like we're multiplying by 3. So times 3 to get to the next term. So if I wanted to find the term after that, I would do 135 times 3, and we would get 405 would be the next term. So that thing we multiply by, we call that the common ratio. Common ratio, we've seen that word already, and it equals r is the letter we use, so in this case r equals 3. Because we're multiplying by 3 each time. So the formula for a geometric sequence, we had one for arithmetic. The one for geometric looks like this. It's a sub n equals a sub 1 times r raised to the n minus 1 power. So it's a sub 1 is that first term, and r is the common ratio. So this is a formula to find any term of a geometric sequence. So here's a couple examples of these formulas, and they say find the first 3 terms. So what that means is you're going to plug in 1, 2, and 3. So to find the first term, we call it a1, and we plug in 1. We go 2 times 3 to the 1 minus 1. Well, that's 2 times 3 to the 0, and if you remember our exponent unit, anything to the 0 power is 1. So this is really 2 times 1, which is 2. So the first term, let's write these off to the side here. A1 is 2. Okay, oh, well look at that. That's just that number there. So the first term is just that. So A2 is going to be 2 times 3 to the 2 minus 1. Well, that's 2 times 3 to the first. 2 times 3 is 6. So A2 is 6. The third term, I'm out of room here, A3, I'm going to plug in 3 for n. So 2 times 3 to the 3 minus 1, which is 2 times 3 squared, which is 2 times 9, which is 18. So A3 equals 18. Now you'll notice, maybe there was a faster way to figure this out, because we know that the formula says an equals a1 r to the n minus 1. So from this formula, we should be able to say that a1 equals 2 and that r equals 3. So we're multiplying by 3 each time. So we started at 2, then times 3 got us 6, then times 3 got us 18. So for the second one here, we've got an equals 1,000 times 1/4 to the n minus 1. So if we go back to that idea of, well, that outside coefficient, that's my first term. So a1 equals 1,000. And then r, my common ratio, is 1/4. So I'm multiplying by 1/4 every time, which is the same as dividing by 4. So instead of having to write out all that every time, I can just use this to help me find the term. So the first term we know is 1,000. The second one, I'm just going to take it and multiply by 1/4. So 1,000 times 1/4 is 250. And then the third term, I'm going to take 250 and multiply it by 1/4. Because I just take the previous term, multiply by 1/4. So 250 divided by 4 is 125 over 2, which is a decimal. That's 62.5. All right, and so then we'll finish up with a couple more problems. In these, I'm actually giving you the sequence or information about the sequence, and then it's our job to write a formula. Okay, so for this first one, I have the sequence 20, 200, 2,000, 20,000. So what I've got to do is kind of figure out the things that I need for the formula. So let's go back and rewrite the formula here. The formula is a sub n is the first term times the ratio to the n minus 1. Okay. So when I do this, well, the first term is 20, a1. So I know it's going to be an equals 20. And now I need the ratio. What am I multiplying by? Well, maybe you can see it just by looking. But if you're not sure, what you do is you take a term and you divide it by the one before. So we would say r equals 200 divided by 20. And when you do that, the answer is 10. And just to check, let's do the next one. 2,000 divided by 200. Okay. The answer, once again, is 10. So my common ratio is 10, or r is 10. So 20 times 10 to the n minus 1. Right? A lot of times we'll put the ratio in parentheses when we write the formula. Okay. So there's the formula. That's it. In number 4, I give you a1 and I give you r. This is about as easy as it gets. You say an equals a1, so 45 times 1/3 to the n minus 1. Okay. So this video really goes through the basics of it. We'll do some more challenging ones in class, but that's all. So thanks for watching.